Hi, my name is Samantha and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be turning a round tablecloth into a rectangular tablecloth. Let's get into it. Today's video is another in the series of using things we already have and repurposing to make them work better. So I have two round tablecloths because I used to have a round table. Now we have a rectangular table. And it's fine for the longer sides, but for the shorter sides, when you go to sit there, it like pulls on your legs. So it ends up shifting the whole table, which is not good. So my plan is to iron this and fold it in fours and then just cut the biggest square possible, go put it back on the table, and then adjust and make a decision on how much needs to be trimmed. So my first step is I'm going to iron it, and then we're going to fold it up and cut it. Here is the round tablecloth on the rectangular table. My plan is to fold it in fours and just make it a, I don't know if it's going to turn out a square or rectangle, but cut off the curves, put it back on the table and see how it looks. I do see here that we will have enough overhang on each of the corners if we just make it more of a square or rectangular shape. If you remember the curtains from the last video, they turned out wonderful. Go ahead and check out that video if you'd like to. Tablecloth, sorry that loud noise, my iron is still going, but tablecloth has been folded in fours. It's not like a perfect circle, but same concept as when we were talking about the napkins. They shrink and change size. So my plan is just to make the biggest square possible, which just eyeballing it kind of looks like maybe this black line up there and then this green line right here. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors, honestly, and just cut those two lines, go stick it on the table, and we'll see how it's going. Okay, no official measuring, I just cut it. Let's go stick it on the table and see if I messed up. Okay, so it's not great, but it's not terrible. I probably should have measured, but I kind of just wanted to knock this project out. So here, I'm definitely gonna trim it I'm just gonna grab scissors and trim it in the middle of this, and then trim this guy too, like right here, and then just serge all the edges, fold it over once, and we'll see if, I think that's gonna make it like the size of the table. I don't know, I might have screwed this up. I might serge it and then add trim on it or something. I don't know. I'm not certain. I really didn't know the best way to tackle this project. This is the way it made sense in my mind, so we're going with it. I didn't even take it off the table, I just trimmed it right on the table. So my plan is now to go take it to my cutting mat and with a straight edge, trim the two sides to be perfectly straight, serge it, we'll throw it back on the table, see how it looks. Here's the cutting situation. When I folded it in half, I just matched up the stripes and then I folded it in half again. And so this top layer are pinned together. Again, it's not perfect. It's just with a design like this, I wanted to try and keep the stripes somewhat symmetrical. So now I'm going to trim this side, fold it in half the other way, and trim again. We've got a perfectly trimmed tablecloth now. So let's go stick it on the table, see how it looks, and go from there. This is how much was trimmed, like just the smallest bit. Here's how it looks trimmed up. There's about a 1/2 inch of hang on both sides here. Maybe a little more on the longer ends than the shorter. So we're gonna go ahead and serge it. And then I think we're gonna add something to the edge. We gotta look through the stash. Here is the tablecloth serged. And then I found this lace in my stash. I got it from a thrift store, it was only $2. I think it'll be too much if I do it the full length. See what I mean? Like it's still gonna end up with the legs touching problem. But if I do half of it, I think that'll be perfect. It'll bring this down a little lower, give a little added touch, and it's not gonna touch your legs. So that is the plan, and we are not gonna measure. We're just going to lay it on the two sides, fold it over again, cut it, and then start sewing it on. Here is the lace just barely pinned on. I think it looks fantastic. I think doing half of it will be perfect, and it used barely any of the roll. So what I'm gonna do is cut it in half and place it on all four sides. My plan is to do it like in a binding method where you start at a midway point, and yes, there are stains on the tablecloth. It's a very well-loved tablecloth. I've never actually bound anything before, but I've seen a lot of videos, so I think I can accomplish it. We're gonna try our best. Okay, I have cut the lace in half, and I just put a little piece of tape on here so I'd know this is the raw edge. So now I'm going to take the raw edge here. Okay, so this is the front, so we want it up like this, right? Raw edge on this side. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go around and pin all over. And then once it's pinned, we'll sew this edge down and then pull it down and sew it again. We are at our first spot where two pieces need to come together. So again, the raw edge is here and this is the pretty side down. So we're gonna go with the binding method that I've seen. So you connect the two and then you sew it. I don't want to screw it up. I think I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna just serge this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna serge this together so that the raw edges aren't fraying, and we're gonna keep going. The pieces have been joined and we're gonna keep going. Here we go. We've got all of the lace attached. Here are the ends. I'm going to leave them nice and loose like this because I want to have as much wiggle room as possible when we get to the end. So I'm going to start down here and do a straight stitch. I'm just going to follow my presser foot and go along the whole perimeter. For the corners, what I did is again, I'm following like the binding methods that I've seen online. I don't know how this is going to work out. Worst case scenario, we might have to snip the corners. I don't know. We'll see. So I did where I like laid it flat. So I'm going to go up to about here, 1/4 of an inch, and then lay it over and then start again over here. We'll see how this turns out. I'm hoping it works. It kind of looks like it works. So fingers crossed. We're kind of winging this. We are sewn all the way around. Here are the edges. So again, what I'm going to do is just bring them together. And since my sewing machine is hooked up, this time I'm just going to do just sew it right here. And then I'll go ahead and stitch this down and it will be sewn down all the way around. All right, moment of truth. Did I do it right? Let's see here. Pull it straight. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to trim this up and then we're going to sew this down. But look, it fits nice and snug. Perfect. Alrighty, I did do a zigzag on this edge. Not sure if that's going to do anything, but next step. So this is the raw edges and the serged edge right here. So I don't want to go like that because I don't want you to see the serged edge. So the serged edge is going downwards. See? So it'll be on the inside. And now we're going to do a stitch right here. And so this is going to be a longer stitch length, more like a 4.0. This one, when I was attaching the lace, was a 1.6, so a lot tighter. Here is how it looks. I am so proud. I think it looks fantastic. There are some like hiccups around the corners, but not a big deal at all. I want to go throw it on the table, see what it looks like, and hopefully my boyfriend doesn't think it's too girly. We'll see. Here is how it looks on the table. It's a little dorky because it's like hanging up like that. It needs to be ironed downwards, but let's set the table. Here we are. It looks so good. All right, let's see what my boyfriend thinks. All right, open.
Oh, wow, you made this yourself? Is it the white?
I cut off the rounded edges and added the lace.
That looks amazing.
Thank you. Is it too girly?
I'm afraid of myself spilling something on it, but I don't know if it's too girly.
Nice. Some of you might be wondering, oh no, what are we going to do with the leftover pieces? Just throw them away, right? Absolutely not. We are going to use every piece of the buffalo. We are going to cut these up. My thought is coasters. I think these are too small to be napkins, so let me cut them up and see how many coasters we can get. I'm hoping at least 4, but 6 or 8 would be great. All right, I was able to get 4 coasters from the strip that we cut, and then I do have 2 different strips worth of like 3.5 inches, and then there's these curved parts. So I was thinking, can I at least get 2 circular placemats? I don't know. And I pulled this from Stash from one of the last hauls. So I'm thinking, can I like lay these out and then I have a plate, you know, can I trace the plate and make at least 2 circular placemats? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. This is folded in half. And here's the plate. So it's going to work. I am able to get two placemats, and I do have this black that I can use. So my thought is I'm gonna sew these two pieces together, and match up the lines, and then I'll iron and cut them out. I've got it. All the fabrics ironed. I folded this in half and pinned it, and I was gonna go in with chalk and mark it, but I'm actually just gonna use this smaller rotary cutter. I have not used this yet, but these are supposed to be good for curves. I'm just gonna go for it because that's what this project has been. So it's definitely not perfect, my first attempt, but that's okay. And in hindsight, these guys, I should have done a big piece with a small piece. That way I could have done a little extra seam allowance, but who cares? I think that they piece together pretty well. So I'm gonna chop this all up. We've got our 4 sets all pinned together here. Now we need some batting. Let's Frankenstein some of this batting together to make the batting. If you're not familiar with the Frankenstein batting term, it has to do with stitching many pieces together to make one piece. So you just put them butt up against each other and you do a zigzag stitch. So for example, this was all one strip, and now it's going to be a piece of batting for one of the placemats. Like so. And in this case, this is adhesive. So technically I could just iron these all on, but there would be gaps. So that is why I am stitching them together. I'm also going to use this opportunity to use up some of these serger threads that were like almost done. I'm going to put them in a bobbin and use them up. Here are the baby spools I was able to make just from that leftover thread. Most of the pieces are cut from the same time, and you can see that they're the same length. One side is fatter, one side skinny. So what I've been doing is I'll just flip them so that then it makes a better rectangle. You can see it here, how this is not a straight line, but it makes a square panel or rectangle. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4 Frankenstein battings. We're gonna iron these onto the white pieces and sew them up. I feel like it didn't even make a dent in the scrap stash, but that's perfectly fine. We can do plenty more of these projects. Our placemats and coasters have been ironed, sewn. They need to be trimmed and turned. And you can see here, I just push the placemats off to one side so that this can be thrown back in the scrap bag to be used at another time. My plan is to pink these edges, hopefully to help better turn it. For my first time sewing circles, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of myself, to be honest. Here's what they look like before we turn them. They're all pinked. I have them turned and pinned, and I have to say this was the most frustrating part. So I feel like I did quite a good job on the curves, but trying to pin the open edge, I feel like I did a terrible job on every single one, but I don't want to spend an hour like adjusting the curve. I already spent like a good 5 or 10 minutes trying to fix these, so we're just gonna top stitch. Here we are. They are obviously not perfect, but a great use of these scraps. I love the solid black. And then the coasters, and they're obviously not going to fit the plates because they were cut with the plates. However, my boyfriend and I don't really use plates, so it doesn't matter. I had the intention of them fitting the bowl plates anyways. Doesn't that look so nice? Oh, I'm so excited. Or they could even be like chargered, you know what I'm saying? Like get a little charger action there. So let me know what you think we should make with this remaining fabric. There's some triangle pieces here, and then there's the 2 strips of about 3 inches. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.